Hello, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. So, for those of you, okay, Javad. Oh, wow. Bomsi, hello, good evening, welcome. So, okay, you were in the live, you were on the class before the thing went off. So, I hope the network is better. I just hope. So, I am just going to, yes, Jade Shola, yes, the network was bad. I had to stop it and restart it again. So that I'm going to explain everything that I did because I don't even know where the network went off. The network was really bad. So guys, so let's just continue. Okay, so I'm going to explain what I did. Okay, so for a quick one, thank you, Helen. Good evening. Happy New Year. Thank you, Helen. So now let me explain what where I got to before the network went off. Okay. So we started, this is our starting line. So you rule a straight line, which is your startup line. And then from that line, you mark this line. So this line is the chest line. So from your shoulder to your chest line, it's usually 7.5 or 8 inches. Thank you so much. And then from your shoulder, this next line is our bust point line. We use 10 inches. And then this next line is our under bust measurement, which is 13. And then this next line is our waist, which is 17. Okay. So these are the measurements. And then the next thing that we did, I came down by half of an inch because I'm using a free hand, and then I marked out my armhole. Okay. So after marking out the armhole, I came to the under bust measurement. I wanted to use a dart of 3 inches. So that 3 inches, I divided it into two, 1.5. So I placed 1.5 from here to here. I placed 1.5, and then I connected it with a curve to the bust point. And then I placed the other 1.5 here, and then I connected it to the bust point. Okay. After that, I extended that 1.5 line. I extended it down like this. Okay. Towards the down, I reduced it a little bit to become 1 inch. And then the same thing I did to this side also. I reduced it and then marked it down. Okay. So that's all that I did. That's where I stopped. So you guys should please give this video a thumbs up while we continue. Okay. So the next thing we are going to do now, we want to create out the shoulder dart. Okay. So from this point, what we are going to do, you are going to mark out your neckline before you do that. So the neckline I'm going to be using is 3 inches. That's the width of my neckline. So I'll mark my neckline like that, 3 inches, and then depends on how many inches depth. So let's use 3 by 3, which is like standard normal small neckline. So I'll just connect it like this. So can you see? So I'll connect the neckline like that. So when I connect the neckline like this, okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my shoulder. Now we want to connect it now to form our shoulder dart. It is a very simple process. So you are going to check what do you have left. Look at the way I'm sweating. What do you have left? So I have about 5 inches here. So when I have that 5 inches, I am going to mark. Most times I don't like my because I don't like my shoulder that I don't want it to come straight. So what I normally do, I'll just bend my mark like this. I just want it to be like, do you understand? I'll bend my mark like this and then I'll mark. Normally I'm supposed to mark half 2.5 inch, but I'm going to mark like 3 inches. Okay. Because I don't, if I mark it 2.5 inches, it's going to be straight. So I don't want it. So this is like a style line that I'm adding to it. So I'll mark that 3 inches, and then on this side also I'll mark that 2.5 inches part. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm taking out half of an inch from this point. This one is optional. This one that I'm doing is optional. You can just mark it straight. So let's mark straight first before we come back. So this is what I did, the first one. So I'm going to connect that line to this line like this. Can you see? Can you see when you connect it? Can you see the beauty of this? You see how beautiful this shoulder that is, very simple and beautiful. So this half inch that I took here, if I want to take out this part, so I'm using half of an inch. Why am I using half of an inch? Because I'm not putting a bust dart. So that is why if I was adding a bust dart, I will open this one and then close this part. But I just want to take out a little bit of inch from here. So that's half of an inch that I mark. This is all I'm just going to do. I'm just going to blend it in. Can you see? Can you see what I just did? It's a simple process, just little. That's what I'm taking out from it. If I, like I said, if I'm taking out, if I'm putting a bust that, I'll take as much as 1 inch out from here. You understand? But since I'm not doing that, I'll just take out half of an inch so you can see that is blended. You see how beautiful this looks. I hope you guys can see it. So the next thing now is for us to take the full body measurement. So for us to take the full body measurement, remember we're using 36 inches. So you take your tape like this, you come to this chest line like this. You divide your 36 by 4, which is 9 inches. You mark it, and then you know when you cut, definitely you are going to lose an inch from here, like half of an inch. So you can just approximate that to like 1 inch, and then you add your stitching allowance. So for my stitching allowance, for those of you that have been following me, you know I put as much as 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Thank you, Rebecca. Good evening, and you're welcome. You guys should please hit like my video so that other people can see it, and then let me know where you're watching me from. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll check what I have here. I'm just going to bring it down to my bust line. Okay, so I'll place it that way, and then I'll come to my under bust. So for the under bust, I'm using 30 inches. So when you divide 30 into 4, you're going to have 7.5. So I'll mark the 7.5 here. Remember our dart, we use 3 inches, right? So that 3 inches, you are going to bring that 3 inches back into your pattern like this. So when you bring that back, and then you add your 2.5 inches like this. Okay, so you mark it. So I'm going to connect those lines together like that. Can you see? You see how beautiful the pattern is looking already? I keep calling it pattern. Yes, even if you are using pattern, you still go through the same way. The only difference with that is that you are doing it on a paper, and then you are using this. So just have that mindset. For those of you that think that pattern drafting is difficult, it's not difficult. You are doing it on a paper and you are using a pen. So that's the difference. Okay. All right, so now let's come to the waist. So the waist, I'm using 34 inches for my waist. So when you divide 34, sorry, my waist is 32 inches. So 32 divided by 4, I'm going to have 8 inches. I'll mark it here. And then I'll add my 3 inches allowance like this. And then add my 2.5 inches allowance. So I'll mark it here. And then my hem, I am just going to use 10 inches and then add all of my allowance this way. So the next thing now, we are going to mark all of these lines together like this. Can you guys see? You see how beautiful our pattern is? Beautiful and easy. So we are done. So I hope you guys understood everything that I did. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to cut this out now. So I've cut this out first. So this one, we're going to use it to cut the back because we are doing a free hand. Okay, so guys, just watch what I'm going to be doing. It is a simple process. I am cutting now. At this point now, I am cutting out my pattern. You guys should see, just watch and see how this goes. So you have to be very careful when doing this. Can you see? Can you see? So this one, remember that half of an inch that I placed here? I told you guys, I said it is optional. So you just take that out. So that is the reason for that, is so that the shoulder does not gape. Okay, and then I'm going to mark, I'll cut this out like this. Can you see? See how beautiful this looks? So the next thing, we're going to use this one now to cut the back. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to do that. So I'll take my pattern, my fresh fabric, and then I'll place this. Remember, this is a back pattern, so it needs a zipper allowance. So I'm going to take this like this. I'll place it like this, and then I'm going to take this. Can you see? You see the difference? You see the difference? I'm going to use half of an inch. It's going to lap on the shoulder part. It's going to lap with half of an inch. So I'm just going to pin this down just to secure it. Can you see? And then I'll, on this part also, just tiny on this part, can you see? You see the allowance already? So with this, I don't need to start adding those allowance that I took out, add it. No, no, no. So once you make sure on this side is lapping with like half of an inch, because that's what you use to stitch it. So automatically once you place it here, it gives it already took out. I don't know how the grammar that I will use. It already took out the allowance. You understand? So you are not marking allowance this, allowance that again. And then on the down part also, you make sure it laps at the down part with like another half of an inch. So that's, you are not taking out, you are not adding that, you are not adding any that intake again to your pattern. Once you are doing the back, you place it like this. You understand? So once you place it like this, the next thing you are going to do, you are going to cut this out. So you see our zip allowance. So this is our back piece now. So we're just cutting it out. Very simple and easy. So you remember, this is not, this is the back pattern. So you cut it this way. So for the zip, for our back pattern not to have a zip bulge, we're going to come to our waist line like this. We'll mark it. And then at this top part like this, I'm going to check. I have like 1.5 inch there. So I'll just mark it. And then this point like this part, I'm going to reduce. Okay, sorry. Yes, I have 1.5 inch. So normally you can do 2 inch there. And then at this waist part, I'm going to reduce it. Just coming from this point, coming like half of an inch. You understand? So can you see what I'm trying to do? And then just mark it. So you can see with this, my what do you call it? The zip part is not straight. It came in a little bit. You can, this waist part, because that's where all the zip wahala happens. You can even come in as much as one half. I don't, I'm looking for the right word to use. 0.75. So you can come in like that. You see. So the next thing now, you are going to take this. Now you want to add a dart, your dart to your back pattern. You are going to mark. Just take that out and then you mark this. Can you see? So you're just going to trace it for your dart, for the back dart. So you take out the center one and then use this now to trace your dart. You trace it like this. So once you mark it like that, you already have a line up for your back dart. And then you are just going to mark like this. Can you see? Simple, easy. And then for the dart, so for the dart, for the back dart, so this is our waistline. So for our back dart, what I'm going to do, most times what I normally do, once I cut, I'm just going to sew it back. So I'll just mark like half of an inch, but I'm not going to cut it out. I usually don't cut this out. I'll just mark it that way. And then I'll cut this for our back pattern. So that it has a beautiful shape and it does not have a bulge. And then this one, I am going to cut this like this. So most times I like that shoulder that let it still run into my back pattern. So once I cut it, remember that half of an inch that I came in. So I'm just going to trim out that half of an inch. That half of an inch. I don't know. I did not study English, so I don't know. You guys should please forgive me. So I'll just take that out like that. Okay. So once I take that out now, so I have my back pattern. This part is not straight. I need to make it. So I've got my back pattern. Can you see? So I have my back pattern and then I have my front pattern. So this is my front, this is my back pattern, and then this is my front pattern. Can you see our shoulder that it is beautiful? So guys, if I raise this camera, you will see my face. You will see the sweat, the way I'm sweating. For those of you that are in Abuja, the heat here is something else. All right. Okay, so let me read the messages before I. Okay, let's see. Helen, thank you. Good evening. You say happy new year. Thank you. Okay. Good evening, Rebecca. Edna, good evening. Bomsi, well. So guys, thank you so much. I'm going to stop here. I'm really sweating. I'm going to stop here for today. So by God's grace, tomorrow we're going to come for our tutorial. I just prayed because tomorrow I'm going for a wedding. I just pray that I am able to come up If I'm able to come up, I will post it around 5. I'll post it on the I'll do the I'll do it and put it so you guys will see. So tomorrow we're going to be learning how to cut a princess dart. So that's what we'll learn how to do tomorrow. Thank you. Mm. I'm telling you the heat, especially in Abuja. Abuja on is, is I don't even know. It's something else. So that's it. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. I love you.